It's Elaine from Penguin Place Crafts. It's Monday, so I'm here to report in of how my weekend went. Friday night, I got an Etsy order for a finished item. Maybe it was Friday during the day. I don't remember. It was a chameleon. Oh yeah, I told you about that. I think I showed it to you. So it must have been during the day on Friday. Okay. Got that out to the mailbox Friday before the mail came, and came back in, checked my phone. Another Etsy order had come in. Okay, there's no way I was going to get that. Find the item, get it packaged up, make a little gift to go along with it. All just wasn't happening. So that went out in the mail today. On Saturday, I finished another chameleon. Same pattern. Oh, my lights are so bright. This was using up that storybook yarn that I wanted to finish off. Okay. This is on the Yarnspirations website. It's called Colorful Chameleons, and it gives you the option of making it all one color with accents or doing stripes. To be honest with you, I want to retype that pattern. It's not written the way that I like patterns written. It's one of these things like single crochet in 2 stitches, 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Like, no, you say 2 single crochet, increase. I want to retype it. And then as they go through the striped pattern, instead of saying like round 16 to 26, you're working even, they're like, round 16, 17, work even. Round 18 and 19, you work in the different color. Round 20 and 21, you work in the original. It just takes up more space. I want to type it all so it's on one sheet in big letters, because that's what I like to work from. Okay. After I finished him, I was so close to finishing up that storybook yarn. So I made a little micro octo. And that did pretty much finish it up. So, yay! I feel like I should get some points when I finish up items like that. Speaking of points, I won a prize in the Ami Wars 2023. Yay! Now, don't think this is nepotism, because we have the same name. But Elaine Brown she was the host for this month, and she put all names on little slips of paper, like one for each point that you had accumulated that month. She shook them up and held it over her head, and she pulled out my name. So, yay! Thank you, Elaine. I got an Amazon gift card, which I'm going to use to restock my gluten-free snacks and probably buy a few Christmas presents. I'll help towards the Christmas presents. Okay. Once I had finished, and another thank you, Judy. Judy bought me a bucha, or 2 buchas, through my coffee site. So thank you for that little bit of encouragement after Friday's video when I was sort of bummed out. I did up my spreadsheet today. I'm like, yes, I'm only $15 from being back in the black after these few orders. And then I went to the post office to drop off a package. So entering that mileage in with the 50 cents per mile business allowance. Okay, I'm back to $25 in the red. So I guess I need to get a few Etsy orders that can go out in the mailbox instead of going to the post office. So once I was done finishing off that yarn, I pulled a yarn out of the bag that I'm trying to use up this month. And it just said Stitch Studio Sampler, but it didn't tell you what yarn it was a sample of. So there was 1.7 ounces of a thick worsted weight. I don't know if it was thick enough to be considered chunky. I made this bear. This is the pattern from Little Muggles, although I do confess I went rogue on it. She has you make the head and end the head with 8 stitches, and you start the body at the bottom and work that up, decreasing to 8 stitches. And I just reversed it and made the head and the body all one piece. But I still think it turned out adorable, and I want to make some more of these. I had a little bit of yarn left from that. I said, okay, let's make another micro octo. I got about halfway through, and it's like, this yarn is not going to last long enough to make 8 little tentacles. So I made just a little ball. At the last craft show I was at, there was a table that had just a basket of just little yarn balls where they made a little sphere. This was 6, 12, 18, 24, then 2 or 3 rows, I think 3 rows of 24, then back 18, 12, 6, finish it up. So I thought, if I make a bunch of these little just hand-size balls and have a basket of them, handy dandy basket, have a basket of them at my craft show, like for $1 each. Hey, if I have a basket of 10 and all 10 sell, then it's at some shows that's half my table fee, approximately. Okay, then I had fun. Just sort of looking around my chair. What yarn have I got left? What do I want to use up? You may have remembered from a trip to the thrift shop, I think it might have been when I got my big shelves back here, and I got some more yarn. One of them was an orange cone of yarn. I think there's about 1 pound of yarn on that cone. Okay, I had wound some into a cake, and the cake, I wound it as big as my cake winder would go, and I had used it for a couple more projects. So it was a little bit smaller because it's a thin yarn. It's probably fingering weight. I just wanted something that would use it up. I made a Mr. Ugly. Look at that hair. Boop, boop, boop. And it does have, oh cool, with the lights of the camera, the color changes look pretty cool. I used 2 strands of that orange yarn all the way through it and just changed color with the other yarn. And I like the way he turned out. Now, I did have, at one point, 3 Mr. Uglies in my listing. And 2 of them sold. So I was down to 1. Now I got this guy in. Maybe he needs a little bit more hair. He's not quite getting that rock drummer look. Oh, there he goes. So I still have orange yarn. Maybe I'll make another one. My husband, when I sold the last one, my husband's like, somebody bought that? I'm like, yes. My Mr. Ugly dolls are one of my best sellers. I think I've made 7 or 8 of them now, and up to this guy, there was only 1 left. So they get attention and they sell. So I have a scrap ball. It was, when I started Mr. Ugly, it was probably about this big, and now it's down to about that big. But I just keep this ball next to my chair. If I end up with a scrap of yarn that's like 12, 18 inches long, I tie it on, wind it onto the ball. If there's a little bit of yarn left over, like just 10 yards or so from a project, that gets wound on. And then when I feel like it, when I feel like the ball's getting big enough, just when I feel like making a Mr. Ugly, there he goes. Little pieces of yarn that are like 6 inches or under, I usually save in a separate bag because the original Mr. Ugly didn't have the dreads like this. I just took different strands, different colors of yarn, and just put them up all over his head to give him a messy mop on top. And I've done some with mohawks. There's no set rule. Yeah, I make them up as I go along. So I am all caught up with projects. Today, yesterday, Sunday, I got another Etsy order. It was for a water bottle sling. Found the box in the closet, pulled it out. I've got them in Ziploc bags for each picture in the listing. I think I have up to H or I. I took a picture of like 4 different water bottle slings. Okay, this guy wants H4. Pulled it out, made a little gift design with it. That got out in the mail today. I was in my pajamas until almost noon. Just getting stuff done, making lists, making a shopping list, making a to-do list, making a meal plan for the week. And then I'm scrolling through my Facebook memories. I had the meal plan all made up. Everything's figured out. Scrolling through my Facebook memories. And there's a video where I said that I liked the Mongolian beef at a local Asian restaurant that we like to go to. I should try this recipe. I don't know if I ever tried it. So I clicked through on the link and I scribbled down the ingredients in my day planner and I added beef to my shopping list. And it was a crock pot recipe. Basically, you get about, well, they said 2 pounds, but since it's just the two of us, I just did 1 pound. Pretty much cut the ingredients in half. Get the meat sliced thin. I bought stir-fry beef at Save-A-Lot, so that was already done. Toss it with some cornstarch, and then in your slow cooker, you put, it was supposed to be 3/4 a cup of brown sugar and 3/4 a cup of soy sauce, but I only had half a cup of soy sauce, so I did half a cup of brown sugar. See, with recipes, I'm just like I am with crochet. I don't need to follow the pattern. And then about a teaspoon of dried minced garlic. They said a tablespoon of fresh garlic, but I don't have that. So, and then about a half teaspoon of dried ginger. They also said like freshly grated ginger. No, don't have that. Put it on in the slow cooker for 3 hours. At the 2.5 hours were done, tossed in 2 shredded carrots, made up some rice, did some roast cauliflower in the air cooker. There was even enough rice left to make rice pudding. So I got all my errands done, made dinner, got the kitchen cleaned up. See, you know what that means? I get to go play with yarn now. I am making a dragon from the bag of yarn I want to use up. And I played yarn chicken and I lost. So I went down to the basement and looked through my reds trying to find a match for this one red yarn I'm using, because I'm holding together a strand of worsted weight red and a strand of sport weight. And I think I'm using a J hook. It's close, but it's not a match. So I'm going to try this thing for a couple of rows. I'm going to do 1 stitch in the old red, 1 stitch in the new red, and like alternate that around, so I sort of transition into the new color and hope that that looks good. So that's what I'm going to go play with. I'm going to make a dragon. I haven't made this type in a while, so I think he's probably going to end up about 18 inches long, just from, his head is much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Haven't made this pattern in a while. So, okay. I will edit this video as I am playing with yarn. I did move some things around in here because I figured if I put two green boxes next to each other like that, if I need to write anything, then I've got a blank slate for it. But I don't know if I have to write anything for this one. So, bye-bye.